Yo, how is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Who is the Bears' toughest opponent in 2020? How will they perform out of the gate in weeks 1 through 4? We will be answering these questions and many more today about the release of the official 2020 Bears schedule in episode 24 of Uncut. Welcome back to the show, guys. Before I introduce myself and my co-hosts, I would like to say, if you are stumbling upon this video and you are new to the channel, and you want more Bears content, we get content up every day. We're real consistent with it, and we try and make great content for you guys. So do us a favor and subscribe. Click the bell to get notifications whenever we post. And most importantly, smash a like on this video. I am your host, Chris Malpe, and today I am joined with my co-hosts, Parth and Jaylen McClinton. How's it going, guys?
I'm tired. I just went on a 25-mile bike ride, so my legs are exhausted.
Impressive.
No, I'm straight. It's a good day in Arizona right now.
Similar to Parth, I did bike earlier today. Not 26 miles, but I biked 14 miles. And I will say, during this quarantine, biking is a pretty good way of getting exercise. But we're not here to talk about biking. We're here to talk about the Bears. So let's hop right into it. The Bears' schedule leaked a little bit early. We're actually recording this up to even an hour before the NFL actually releases the schedules themselves. So I'm going to run you guys through the games that the Bears are playing and whether or not they're on prime time, and then we'll get right into it. So week 1, the Bears start their season off in Detroit. Week 2, they will play at home versus the New York Giants. Week 3, they head to Atlanta to face Matt Ryan and the Falcons. Week 4, they're home against the Indianapolis Colts. Week 5, their first primetime game of the season, they will face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Week 6, they'll head to Carolina to face Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers. Week 7, for the third year in a row, they will play the Los Angeles Rams in primetime, this time on Monday Night Football. Week 8, they will host the New Orleans Saints. Week 9, they will head to Tennessee to take on Derrick Henry, that stout rushing game, in the Tennessee Titans. Week 10, they are playing Kirk Cousins in primetime yet again like they did in 2018, which bodes well for the Bears. That game will be on Monday Night Football. Our bye week comes in Week 11. Week 12, off the bye, we're heading to Lambeau Field to play the Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football. Week 13, we will host the Detroit Lions at home. Week 14, another tough one. We will host the Houston Texans and Deshaun Watson at home. Week 15, we will be heading to Minnesota. Normally that game is during Week 17, but they switched it up this year, so we will play the Vikings on Week 15 at US Bank Stadium. Week 16, the game that Parth and I hope to attend, we will be playing at the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's going to be a fun time, especially if we are allowed to go down there. And we will close out our season at Soldier Field with a Week 17 battle that could have NFC North and playoff implications against no other than the Green Bay Packers. Parth and Jaylen, before we get into our actual questions, I want to ask you this. What was your reaction to the schedule releasing?
Parth. I thought the first 4 games looked really easy, it's the NFL, but the last 12 games of the season are much harder than the first 4, so the Bears definitely got to take advantage of the first 4 opponents, and I like the bye week at Week 11, We've been having a lot of early bye weeks lately, so a nice late bye week is definitely helpful, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you there. You look at the bye week, it's placed in a good spot. Obviously we knew the opponents coming into this one, so I didn't have much of a reaction. I will say I agree that the first 4 weeks bode pretty nicely in the Bears' favor, but I do like the Week 11 bye. They're going to play 10 games in a row, give them a nice break before a shorter end of the season with weeks 12 through 17. Jaylen, what were your thoughts about the schedule release?
It was actually better than I thought. I thought we were gonna play for the 4 AFC South teams the first 4 games of the season. I'm glad that's not true. I'm happy to with our first 4 games. I wouldn't say they're easy because there are NFL teams and they have NFL players, but we match up very well with these teams, and I feel like we could definitely come, with 3 or 4 dubs in our first 4 weeks. It's a good schedule. I feel like it's a lot of teams that we can beat. It's a couple teams on here that I feel like we would definitely have good games with. A couple rematches with the Rams and the Saints and stuff like that. So I like this. I like this schedule.
Absolutely. We do match up with those first 4 teams very well. That's a good point that you bring up. And that's my next question. Parth, I'm going to pass it back to you. What do you think is a realistic prediction for the first 4 games of the season at Detroit versus New York Giants, at Atlanta, and home versus Indianapolis?
I'm going to say 3-1. I feel like that's as realistic as you can get. Detroit, we've had their number for the last 2 years, and 2 out of the other 3 are at home. So I can definitely see us losing the away game against the Falcons or dropping the game against the Colts, but I do not see us losing the first 2 games at all, actually.
We've spoken a lot about the Colts and their improvements this offseason in previous podcasts, our pre-draft predictions. I actually praise the Colts. I'm going to say 3-1 as well. Atlanta's definitely not an easy team to beat. They've weakened a little bit, but they add Todd Gurley. They got back Julio Jones. Calvin Ridley's going to be healthy. Matt Ryan can always do things. They added Dante Fowler. I think our defense stacks up against them well. That's a topic for another day. We're not going into predictions here, but I think for the first 4 games, a realistic prediction is 3-1, but obviously you want that at 4-0. Maybe that's just me being an optimist, but Jaylen, what do you think? What's your realistic prediction for the first 4 games of the season?
Yeah, I could see us going 3-1, 4-0. I definitely feel like we can beat Detroit. Mitch plays very well against Detroit the last couple seasons. New York's probably not. It's not going to be a hard game, but it's definitely going to be a good game to watch. They got Daniel Jones. They just drafted an offensive line for him. They still got Saquon at the end of the day. So they're an up and coming team. Atlanta, that might probably be the hardest game from the first 4 games. They have an amazing offense with Julio. They got the tight end from Baltimore and stuff like that. They're getting a lot of pieces on that defense. And with Indiana, they're not a bad team. They have a good roster. It's just I don't feel like Phillip Rivers could beat us. Yes, he beat us last year, but we were supposed to win that game. If Eddie made that kick, so I definitely can see us going 3-1 realistically.
So now we have it on tape that Jaylen just called the Indianapolis Colts the Indiana Colts. But let's get into the next question.
What I mean, Brad.
Obviously, this Bears defense has been compared to the 2018 defense a couple times. Jaylen, I'm going to go right back to you. Obviously, a lot of strong offenses will be playing against the Bears this upcoming season. You look at Green Bay, the LA Rams, still a solid offense, Tennessee, New Orleans, Minnesota, Houston, Tampa Bay. That being said, is there any team on here that you think our defense can't slow down?
Probably the 2 NFC South teams in New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they got Brady. They just got Gronk, and they still have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. That offense is gonna be scary next year. And then New Orleans, they still have a lot of offensive pieces. They still got Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, and stuff like that. So those will probably be the 2 teams that I feel like our defense is. Even though how good our defense projects to be, those offenses are probably going to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They drafted Keshawn Vaughn. That's an interesting prospect there. Obviously, Brady, Gronkowski, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. That's going to be tough regardless. So I think Tampa Bay we're gonna have a tough time slowing down. Green Bay is always a tough one, and I honestly think Tennessee can be pretty tough. You think it's about bottling up Derrick Henry, which the Bears may have some trouble with based on the Tennessee Titans offensive line, but also they have a decent receiving core there in A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. So I think they have a better time working against the Saints this year in Week 8 at home again. Parth, do you think there's any teams on here that our defense might have some trouble with?
I feel like you guys listed all of them, but I'm going to say another team that you guys probably don't expect a lot of people to say. Let's say Carolina Panthers. Last year Teddy Bridgewater played very well against us, and they also got Christian McCaffrey, who's a great running back.
And they added Robbie Anderson this offseason.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore. So that's a pretty decent offense, and another team from the NFC South that's being overlooked, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Panthers are looking to look pretty good there with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. Obviously, that's a game I think all of us want the Bears to win because Teddy Bridgewater was so close to being a Bear, and I think we owe him that one. So, next question, Parth, I'm passing it back to you. Out of all of the opponents, which one do you think is the toughest?
Green Bay. It's always going to be Green Bay for the Bears. I feel like they've just had a number in recent years. As much as I hate them, they're a damn good team. And they're probably our toughest.
Yeah.
Just because mentally, the mental portion is what makes it the toughest part. They're not even the best team. It's just the mental part of it.
I mentioned it before we hopped on this podcast that I thought everyone was talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a little bit too much. But I think they serve as our toughest opponent even though we play them at home. I mentioned the weapons they have on offense already. You can't really overlook that. The Packers have Aaron Rodgers, just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have Tom Brady. And Tom Brady's older and might not scare you anymore, but they drafted Tristan Wirfs. They're looking to have good protection for him, and they probably have the best weapons in the league. So I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers being the toughest opponent on the Bears' schedule this year during Week 5 on Thursday Night Football. Jaylen, what do you think? Who's the toughest opponent the Bears will face in 2020?
I'm gonna have to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here as well. Yes, Green Bay is our rival, and we struggle to play them sometimes. Last year, there was both close games, both 2 games we played them, but we still couldn't come out with a win. But Tampa Bay's offense is just like too scary, even though. Not Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady is like 40-something. He's still a good quarterback. They still got Gronk, who took a year off and got his body right, and those 2 star receivers that they have on both sides. So that offense is just like scary, and I feel like that's probably going to be our toughest game next year.
Yeah, you look at this schedule, it's jam-packed with teams that are going to be tough and jam-packed with teams that are going to be easy. So next we're going to be looking at some games that are called, quote, gimmies. I'm going to go first here, just picking the games that I think are gimmies so I can give Parth and Jaylen some time to think. I think both games against Detroit, if our defense can show up, should be some pretty easy ones. New York Giants, Jacksonville Jaguars, to me, is a gimme. And also, honestly, Carolina Panthers, Parth just mentioned it as being a team that our defense could have trouble with. But if we can shut down their offense, I think we have a very easy time moving the ball on the Carolina Panthers. Another one to look at is the LA Rams if our defense can prevail. Obviously they beat us last year. We had a really good game in 2018, but they lost Todd Gurley and Brandon Cooks. I've said it before, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, still a really good wide receiver tandem. I don't fully trust Jared Goff, and I think that could be a gimme if we can shut them down like we did in 2018. Parth, I'm going to go to you now. Which games would you consider gimmies on the Bears' schedule in 2020?
Definitely the Lions games, as long as our offense and defense can do our thing. Trubisky's just been lights out against the Lions the last 2 years. Matt Nagy is also 2-0 against the Lions. And, 4-0 actually.
Yeah.
And 4-0. And he's also 4-0 against the Vikings, so I'm going to count him as a gimme, even though they're a tougher team. And a great team, actually. I just feel like the Bears have had their number. Kirk Cousins chokes against the Bears. We got him in a Monday night game.
Yeah.
Cousins is 0-10 on Monday night, so make that 0-11. Write it down for sure.
Absolutely, and I know Parth didn't say the Jacksonville Jaguars, but if that's a game that we'll be attending, I'm sure that's one we would love the Bears to prevail in there. Jaylen,
exactly.
Out of all the games on the Bears' schedule here, which of them are gimmies to you?
It's not really a gimme in the NFL. Anything can happen, but games that I feel like it's no chance that we lose is the 2 Detroit games. Definitely New York. They might give us a run for our money, but I still feel like we could win. In Jacksonville, that team is just falling apart. Yeah, they have Gardner Minshew, but he's a 6th-round draft pick against this defense. I feel like he's gonna struggle, especially with this being his only his second year in the NFL. And I want to say the Rams too, but the Rams last year they found a way to beat us. I don't know how.
That was a terrible game.
We really only lost because of our offense. Our defense was doing their job. They just got tired because they were on the field multiple times. So I would probably say those teams.
Interesting. So obviously here on the channel, we do our record predictions, and our post-draft record prediction will come out early next week if you guys are still listening to this. We did a pre-draft one. You guys loved it, so we're going to put out our post-draft one probably next Monday or Wednesday. But don't break down any of the games or anything, guys. I want you guys to give me a rough record prediction, kind of just like a way too early record prediction like we've been doing. But don't break down any of the games. Just give your record. I'm going to go with 10-6. I think that's a safe bet. Losses to some of those marquee teams. I'm not going to name names because that's for another day. That's for next week. But I think 10-6 is a safe bet here. Jaylen, what do you think?
I went 10-6 as well. The team that the wins that I counted, those could go either way for a couple of them, but I'm gonna go 10-6 at 9-7 as well. I counted the loss, so I'll go 9-7, 10-6.
You would also have to presume that some of the losses that you're counting could also switch depending on if the games are competitive.
Wins, yeah.
Yeah, Parth, what's your rough record prediction for 2020 based off the schedule?
Since you guys both said 10-6, I'm gonna go a little different. Say 11-5. I'm gonna be a little optimistic here. The Bears definitely do have a tougher schedule than a lot of people think. I think the divisions that we're matching up against are fairly great divisions. I feel like the NFC South, AFC South, and NFC North are the top 3 divisions of the NFL, and we got all 3 of them that we're playing. So it's gonna be a great season. It's gonna be tough opponents, and I feel like all games are gonna be exciting this year.
Absolutely. I don't need anything more from you guys than a one-word answer here. Obviously, you know, with the new CBA, there's going to be 7 wildcard teams starting in 2020. Jaylen, give me a one-word answer. Do the Bears make the playoffs in 2020?
Yes.
Parth?
Yep.
I'm going to go with yes as well. Bears fans always seem to be optimists, but the schedule is looking real nice. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 24 of Uncut. You guys have been loving it, and we really appreciate the support. And this is just one step closer to the season, hoping that it obviously happens. So thank you guys for tuning in. Do us a favor, subscribe, click the bell for more notifications when we post, and like the video. If you want more content from us, head over to our website, bearddown.com, for columns, articles, and blogs. Also, do us a favor and follow us on social media. The links to our fan pages are down in the description. And you can also find the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. Parth Shaw and Jaylen McClinton, any last words based on this schedule?
It's going to be a great season for the Bears. I hope it happens, and hopefully we can get fans in the stadium too, because it would just be much, much better for the team that way too, and us for fans to go to the games.
You know, I like the schedule. I definitely feel like it's some good games on the schedule as well. Make sure you guys are staying safe, washing your hands. Bear down.
Yeah, 4 primetime games for the Bears this year. Obviously, as Parth said, we want to get fans in the seats, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one turns out. It's been a pleasure to be your host tonight. Once again, my name is Chris Malpe, and thank you for tuning in. And as always, Chicago, stay safe and bear down. Peace.